and for the first time since I entered this nightmare, I sat down willingly. The straps didn't move. No ghosts screamed. No lights blinked. Only silence. And for the first time, it felt clean. Because I remembered who I was. All of it. The good. The ugly. The parts I buried. The screams. The guilt. The cowardice. But also the fight. The part of me that got back up. That found Eliza. That kept walking when the world said I was already gone. The room shook. Not from fear. From release. The names on the stairs burned bright. The walls cracked. And the whisper turned into a roar. Not of pain. Of surrender. The hollow was breaking. We weren't just surviving anymore. We were undoing it. We ran. Back up. The stairs folded in behind us. The lights burst one by one. The red eyes shut. And as we climbed out, we saw the town above us melting. Windows collapsed. Doors dissolved. Skies bent in half. And above all of it, a voice. Not human. Not angry. Just tired. I remember now. You can leave. When we emerged from the hollow, the sky was bleeding. Not raining. Not storming. Bleeding. Thick, slow drips of red sliding down from cracks in the clouds. Eliza didn't flinch. I did. The town looked the same. But it wasn't. The trees were frozen in motion, like caught mid-sway. Cars sat on the road. Their engines cold, their doors open, as if everyone had left in the middle of a breath. No sound, no birds, no wind, no time. Just us. We walked down Main Street. Every window reflected different versions of us. Somewhere I was alone. Somewhere Eliza was older. One where I had no eyes. Another where she had no mouth. We didn't stop. We didn't speak. We just moved. Like if we stopped, we'd be pulled back into that thing. Into the hollow. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part came when we reached the town square. There were people there. Standing. Silent. Facing the center. A dry fountain. Every one of them was us. Copies. Hundreds. Daddy. Alexis. Eliza's. Some smiling. Some crying. Some screaming. But no sound came out. All frozen. All watching the fountain. Where the water should have been was a mirror. Not broken. Not warped. Perfectly clear. Reflecting nothing. Not me. Not Eliza. Not the others. Just emptiness. She stepped forward. I think this is where they keep the way out, she said. I didn't move. My legs were like anchors. Or maybe it's where they keep the way in, I said. She looked back at me, tired. Not scared. Just done. They're the same thing. Then she stepped into the fountain. The mirror rippled, like water. Then it pulled her under. Gone. Wind. No splash. No scream. Just silence. And all the other versions of her turned to me. In unison. Mouths moving with no voice. Remember. Tortiwa. Paul. I stepped in. The cold hit me like needles. My lungs filled with static. My bones ached like I'd aged 100 years in a second. And then I was back in the woods where this all started. where I found the first sign, where the hollow had first whispered. But something was different. Eliza was there, alive, breathing. Real time, see. And I remembered everything. Every scream, every shadow, every step down. We weren't supposed to escape. We were supposed to wake up. The hollow wasn't a place. It was a state. Made of your mind that locks away the worst of you. But it doesn't destroy it. It waits. It feeds. Until you face it, or drown in it. I looked at Eliza. She looked at me. I think we broke it, I said. She smiled. No, I think we became it. And for the first time. That didn't scare me. We reached the surface just before sunrise. Or at least, that's what it looked like. The sky was bleeding orange, but not like dawn. More like an old wound reopening. The buildings were back. Almost normal. Almost. Shadows stretched the wrong way. Streetlights flickered like they were breathing. And the birds, if that's what they were, didn't sing. They mimicked voices. Our voices. From hours ago. From years. Eliza and I stood at the edge of Hollow's Town Square. No people. No traffic. Just echoes. I turned to her. We made it. She didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the horizon. Do you see that? She whispered. I followed her gaze. A mirror. Tall. Thin. Mid-20. Floating in midair. Not reflecting us. Reflecting the real town. The one we remembered. Before the whispers. Before the lies. Before the hollow. That's it, I said. That's the way out. Eliza didn't move. Maybe, she said. Or maybe it's the bait. Bite for what? She didn't need to answer, because the buildings behind us screamed, a low animal howl, like steel scraping bone. And then the world around us shifted. The square folded inward like paper. The streets crumbled into dust, and from the collapsing walls, they came crawling. Not monsters, not ghosts, people, or what was left of them. Dozens, hundreds, faces torn open from screaming, bodies thin like paper dolls soaked in oil, eyes gouged out, but still somehow looking. Each one of them whispered the same sentence over and over. You forgot me. We ran. No hesitation. No plan. Just instinct. The mirror pulsed ahead of us, now humming like it wanted us to fail. The ground cracked behind us. Voices poured from it. Laughter. Sobs. Begging. But we didn't stop. Not even when Eliza stumbled. I grabbed her, pulled her up, didn't let go. Because I knew, if she stayed, I would too. We reached the mirror. It shivered. Not like glass, like water under heat. I put my hand to it and sank in, but not into reflection, into memory, into truth. And what I saw behind the mirror wasn't the world I remembered. It was the one I denied. I saw myself, not as a fighter, not as a survivor, but as a liar. A boy who'd left someone behind, who'd made a choice to save himself, and let someone else pay for it. The hollow hadn't created itself. We did. We gave it fuel. Each secret, each betrayal, each moment we rewrote our past to make it bearable. This town? It's a graveyard for the things we pretend never happened. And that's when I saw her. Not Eliza, the real Eliza, curled in a hospital bed, coma tubes, in her arms, eyes closed, skin pale, machines breathing for her. I was there too, sitting by her side, holding her hand, crying, because she had died 3 years ago. Car accident. I was driving. I lied. I told everyone we were hit, but I'd been drinking. Oh, I don't remember how I got out, but I remember the glass, the scream, the silence after. I buried it, built a wall in my head, and somewhere in that wall, the hollow grew. The mirror shimmered. Behind me, Eliza's voice. Now you know. I turned. She stood at the edge of the mirror, not bleeding anymore, not empty, just waiting. You're not really here, I said. No, she said, but neither are you. What do I do? Choose. She pointed to the 2 towns reflected in the glass, one full of pain, memory, truth, the other empty, clean, lifeless, one real, one safe. I stepped forward, into the mirror, into the pain, into the truth I'd run from for years. The world ripped, like cloth tearing under too much weight, and then, darkness, no floor, no sky, no sound, just breath, my own, and then hers. Eliza? A hand touched mine. Real, warm, familiar, and I woke up in a hospital bed, IV in my arm. Why? Monitors beeping, and Eliza sitting beside me, alive, smiling, tired, but alive. You came back, she said. So did you. I woke up into quiet, not silence, quiet. That stillness that holds its breath, like the world hasn't decided whether it wants to keep spinning. Machines beeped. A hospital ceiling above me, beige and cracked. My chest ached. Not pain, weight, like I'd been underwater for years and only just now remembered how to breathe. And then, her voice, Eliza. I turned, slowly. Terrified. She was there, sitting beside the bed, awake, alive, tears in her eyes, but smiling like she'd waited centuries. You came back, she whispered. I couldn't speak. Not yet. I reached out and held her hand. Warm bitwi. Real. But then I noticed her IV wasn't connected, and her eyes, they didn't blink. She leaned forward, so close I could smell the hollow on her breath. You think this is real? She said. I sat bolt upright, sweat pouring. Not in a hospital. I was in the hollow. Again. Same room. Same bed. Same light. But wrong. The machines beeped in reverse. The windows looked out into nothing. No sky. No ground. Just absence. And the Eliza beside me? She opened her mouth wide. Too wide. And screamed without sound. Then vanished. That's when I understood. There was no out. No end. Because the hollow isn't a place. It's a mirror. A parasite. It feeds on secrets. It eats guilt and shame. And the things we hide from ourselves, then traps us inside the versions of reality we deserve. This was my truth. I never left. I never saved her. All those chapters, memories I'd rewritten, endings I wished for. But the hollow doesn't grant wishes. It replays regrets over and over until you either face them or they become you. I stood. The walls of the hospital began to rot, peeling into fog, dripping into the same black oil that lived under the town. The floor cracked beneath me. Below it, the square, the mirror, the screaming versions of myself, the never-ending loop. I laughed, for the first time in what felt like lifetimes, because I understood something now. If the hollow was a loop, I had to break it, but not by running, not by escaping, by going deeper, by remembering everything. So I dropped, willingly, through the floor, through memory, through time. Every layer peeled back like burned paper, each version of me screaming as I passed. The liar, the coward, the driver, and at the very bottom, a boy, me, 15, sitting by a lake, screaming into a silent phone, please don't drive, please don't come, I'll be fine. And Eliza's voice on the other end, I'm already on my way. Click. Oh. And then, the crash, the darkness, the first seed of the hollow. I stepped forward, held that version of myself, whispered, it's okay to hurt. It's not okay to forget. And the world shook. When I opened my eyes, there was no hollow, no town, no mirror, just light. Not the cold white of hospitals, not the red bleeding sky, sunlight, dot, and grass, and birds, real ones. And beside me, a gravestone, her name, Eliza Lane, 1094. 2019, and my voice finally worked. I said, I'm sorry for forgetting, for twisting it all, and for the first time, she didn't appear beside me, didn't whisper from behind, didn't reach through the mirror. She just rested, and I walked away into the real world, where the light never reaches the hollow, because the hollow lives only in the dark, and I'm not afraid of the dark anymore. I walked away, and the hollow stayed behind, where the light never reaches, and I'll never return. The end. If that story found a place in your mind, imagine what the next one will do.